Welcome back everyone. So in today's video I will be showing you how to create an IAM user on AWS, and once we have the user created I will show you how to log into your AWS account with that user. Alright, so let's get to it. Okay, so like I mentioned in today's video I will be walking you through the process of creating an IAM user on AWS account, and once we have the user created I will also be showing you how to log into your AWS account with this new user. Now, traditionally, when you create an account with AWS, you get what we call a root user or admin user. So that account, the very first time you create an account with AWS, has all the access to provision and create resources in AWS. So it's kind of like an admin user. So you can use that user to create provision and even manage billing with your account in AWS. Now, if we don't want to use that root user, and I think that is probably the recommended way, you don't want to use the admin user to interact with the AWS because you might end up deleting or over provisioning resources. So what we want to do is create a user that only has limited privileges to interact with your services on AWS. And so in this video, that's what I'll be walking you through, how to create a user in AWS that has limited privileges. All right, so let's jump to it. So in this dashboard here, I'm logged into my AWS account and I'm actually logged in with my root user. So this root user has access to create users, to create resources. There's no limited permissions for this user that I have. Now what I want to do is go ahead and create an IAM user with limited privileges. And if you work in an organization, this is probably what you want to do. Okay, so if you are an admin that you are administering AWS, so and you have a team that wants to use AWS, so what you can do is you can create an account. You can create, say, an IAM user for a specific user or for a group of users, and basically just give permissions for the resources in AWS that you want that user or those users to use in your account. Okay, so what you want to do in your root account, right? So I'm logged into my root account here. What you want to do is go to IAM. So right here I do have recently visited services and I have IAM showing up. You can directly go to IAM from here. If you don't see it, then all you have to do is just type IAM right here, and this will show up. This is one of the service IAM, and this is the service in AWS that we use to manage and access AWS resources. So all you have to do here is just click this, and I'm going to open this in a new tab. And so this is the dashboard for the IAM. And this is where basically you create users, policies, roles, and things like that. So in this video we are only focusing on users, and as you can see I only have one user at the moment, and to see that all you have to do is go to users right here, and when you do that you will see the users that you have on your account. I only have one user called dev user right now, and this is the user that I usually use. So what you want to do is go ahead and create a user, and to do that just go right here where it says create user, just click that, and here is where you enter the details for the user. So you can enter the name for the user, or you can enter just a general name so in our case, let's say we want to give users sandbox environment, so we can create something like sandbox here. So I'm just going to say sandbox users, and this will just be for users who want to practice in AWS, and will give them limited permissions on the same. Okay, so just create a user. This user can be someone's user, it can be just a general user, doesn't matter. Okay, and you can decide here to check this box, provide user access to AWS Management Console. So if you don't check this, then that means that this user that you create will not have this dashboard access. Okay, so it will not have console access to, like the what we see currently right here, right? So that means that they can only access AWS either through SDK or through AWS CLI. Okay, so in this case we are going to check this because we want our user to log in through the console. Okay, And you see this message pop up here. So there are two ways that you can provide access to this user. So if you have users that are centrally managed, say in Active Directory, Okta, and some third-party kind of like resources where you manage your users, then you can go with this first option here. So you can see here, specify a user in Identity Center. And Identity Center again are like Active Directory where you centrally manage your users. So if you're an organization and you have an identity center where you manage your users, then you can go with this. And usually this gives users kind of like a single sign-on. So this AWS says this is recommended if you have this setup. Okay. So you can go with this option if you do have users that you can get their like identity and things like that from here. I don't have this, so we'll go with the second one here. We'll just create an IAM user on AWS, and AWS will manage this user. Okay. For the password, you can use auto-generated password, or you can use custom password. So if you go with auto-generated, this AWS will generate the password for you, and you have to save that password somewhere, and make sure that somebody has access to it. I'm not going to go with this option. I'll go with the second one for custom password. So I'll just go ahead and enter the password here. Okay, so I'm just going to enter the password here, and you can see it must be at least 8 characters long and has some of these special characters. Okay, and then once that is done, you can choose to have the user create a new password at the next sign in. They say this recommended. Actually, I'm not going to go with this. I will uncheck this, and then we'll just go ahead and click next here. And then for the permissions, you can add this user to a group. So a group is like a set of so you can create a group in AWS and add users to that group, and assign specific policies or permissions to that group. So if you add this user now to that group, then this user will inherit the permissions that this group has, and so you don't have to go through the whole process of assigning permissions to this user. So if you already have this in place, then you can go ahead and do that. You can also copy permissions from another user. So let's say if I wanted this user to inherit the permissions that this other user has, then I will just go ahead and do that. Or you can attach policies directly for this user. Okay, so policies in AWS are just like managed policies that have specific permissions to use specific resources on AWS. So in this case, we are going to go with this option. We just want to attach specific policies for this user. And we do have a lot of policies here, and some of them are managed AWS policies. So you can see here we have AWS managed. You can also create a policy of your own. You can see here create policy, and you can specify which resources this policy will be having permissions to. Okay, so in this video we'll not be touching this. I'll make another video later where I can walk you through how to create roles and how to assign policies to that how to assign policies to that role, right? So for this user, what we want to do is we just want to give limited access, and in this case let's probably just go with S3, and we want to give this user, say you can give full access to S3, or you can actually give limited access to S3. So you can say, for example, here S3 table full access, S3 table read only access. So some of these roles will give only limited access. So for example, if you give Amazon S3 read only access, then this user only has permissions to read what is on S3, and they will not be able to create packets and things like that. So in this case, let's just go ahead with the Amazon S3 full access. That means that this user will have full permissions to create packets in S3, upload, download, and basically manage S3. So we'll go with that. If you don't want this, you can just go with the, for example, read, and that means that they will just interact with the files or objects that are in S3, they will not be able to upload or alter. Okay, so we'll go with the S3 full access for this, and we'll just go ahead and hit next here, and just go ahead and create. Okay, so that's all you need. Okay, so you have now created successfully the user, and from here you can see that you have a URL here, and this is the URL for this new user. So you can choose to email the sign-in instruction to the user. If you have the email here, just go ahead and do that. You can also download the CSV file here so that you have the password saved somewhere so that you don't forget. Okay, so what we want to do here is we will go ahead and copy this URL, and I'm going to open a new window here, and we just want to log in to this URL with that user. Okay, so once you do that, you can see that you have the account here. This is our AWS account, and now you can put the information for the IAM user right here. Okay, so we'll just need to put the name here. Okay, so the name that we created was sandbox user, and then we just enter the password that we entered when we were creating this user, right? And then we'll just go ahead and log in. Okay, so I think I need to enter the password properly for this, so let's make sure that you get the password. Okay, you get the password right. So let me just do again that, and just going to copy it, sandbox user, and then we'll go ahead and log in. Okay, so I think I'm entering something wrong here. Let's go back and check in what we created. Okay, so we have sandbox users. All right, I think this is what the problem is. So I'm just going to copy this password again, and we will go back here. This one is sandbox users, and we will just copy that password and paste it right here. All right, there we go. Okay, awesome. So now we are able to log into our AWS account, and this is how now the dashboard looks like with this new user. So this is a new account, and now from here, what you want to do is to test if that user now has access to other services. So for example, let's say this user after logging in, they wanted to go to EC2 and try to create an EC2. So you can see we have EC2 here. If we open EC2, we'll see if this user has access. So you can see here they don't have it. Okay, so they can only see what is running. Actually, they can't do that. You're not authorized to perform this operation, so they can't interact with EC2. They can't use the APIs and nothing. Okay, and if we go back here, if they say they wanted to go to, let's say, a service like Redshift, for example, they will not have access to that either. Okay, so they go there, you can see no access. Okay, so access is denied for this user. And so the only access that this user will have is only S3. So if you go to S3 now, so if you type S3 here, and let's go to S3, then I will not be able to see that message. Okay, so you can see that this user now has access to our S3. We can see the packets. So if you go here, you can navigate to this packet, and you can download some files from there. Okay, so you can see you can download files, save them. You can even read files. So you can say, let's say we want to query this packet. It's a CSV file, I believe. Okay, and then you can run queries here. All right, so you can actually interact with S3 and see the data that's available there. Okay, this user will also have permissions to create. So let's say they can create a packet like that. Okay, just some random packet. They can do that. They should be able to create, and also they have permissions to delete packets as well, right? Because we gave this user full access to S3. That's why they are able to delete, upload, and read files from S3. But they are not able to interact with any of the other services. Okay, so this way, if you just want to limit what the users can access in S3, then this is how you do it. Okay, so you just create a user, and then from there you can manage their permissions. Now if you wanted to expand the permissions for this user later, let's say you wanted to give them access to EC2 or RDS or Athena or AWS Redshift, Amazon Redshift, or any other service really in AWS, then you can go back. Now if you go back to your root user, this is a location where we have, if you go now to your users, then you have this user here. If you log in here, you can see that they only have policy to access S3 right now. Now let's say you wanted to add permissions for this user to access EC2, for example, right? So then you can go here and you can add the permissions, go to the policies, and you can search EC2, for example, here. Okay, so Amazon EC2, let's say we want to give them full access to EC2, and that way they can create instances in EC2, compute instances and things like that. So just go ahead and so all you have to do is just search it and go ahead and click next and add the permissions, right? And then from there you can go back now to your IAM user, right? The sandbox user. And now if we try to access EC2, hopefully we should be able now to see, right? There we go. So you can see now those errors have disappeared, and you can see if we have any instances. Of course, I don't have any instance currently running, but this user now should be able to create an instance if they wanted to, and use any EC2 compute instance that's running. Alright guys, so just a quick recap. In this video we went through the process of creating an IAM user on AWS, and for that we logged in into our root user, went to IAM and went to the user section, created the user, and we gave our user only the permissions to access specific services on AWS, and in our case we only gave permissions to access S3 and EC2. We went ahead and logged into our AWS environment with this new user, and we could see that this user only has access for the services that we gave permissions to. So in our case, S3 and EC2, and we can see that this user now has access only to these services and nothing else. Okay, so in the next video I will be diving into roles and policies, and basically how to create roles and policies, and deep dive into it. Okay, so if you have not subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and hit the subscribe and the notification bell so that you can be notified the next time I make videos like this. Alright guys, that's all I had for you in this video. Again, if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and also do share with your friends. Alright guys, I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.